Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and get started here. We'll start with doing team introductions, and then our city manager is going to give us, kind of speak to us before we get down to business. So I'll start off. For those of y'all that don't know me, my name is Gabe Rodriguez. I'm one of the assistant city attorneys, and I'll be one of the lead negotiators for the city side.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Rodriguez. I'm the deputy city manager.
Good afternoon. I'm Eddie Houlihan. I'm the director of budget.
Doug Mathejets, deputy fire chief.
I'm Rebecca Castillo, the interim HR director.
I'm Peter Zanoni, the city manager.
And then I think we're going to go ahead and introduce our alternates and some of our other team members.
I'm Will Durham, assistant to the deputy city manager.
Same thing.
Lilia Castro, assistant city attorney.
Randy Page, assistant fire chief. John Juarez, business manager of the fire department.
Amy Cowley, I'm the assistant budget director. Odette Cruz, interim assistant director of human resources.
Ely Young, assistant city manager.
I'm Johnny Stiles, president of the Firefighters Association.
Tony Keith, firefighter. Jason Cook, firefighter.
Randy Smart, firefighter.
Brad Crabtree, firefighter.
Jack Arnold, firefighter. Chris Gillinelli, firefighter.
Art Cusser, firefighter.
Justin Drexler, firefighter.
Cody Iron, firefighter.
John Moda, firefighter.
Alrighty. At this point, we'll turn it over to the city manager.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Gabe. That's great. My first question was going to be how many of y'all are firefighters? No one's answered. But that's great. The reason I wanted to know is to let who was a firefighter know that we care about you as firefighters, as professionals in our business, one of our core businesses, fire, EMS response. And I don't have much to say today because you have a pretty sophisticated team on both sides that are here to negotiate a 4-year contract. And today's presentation to you is an easier one than, say, 5 years ago when we first got here, where we had to prove that we cared about firefighters and cared about the city and cared about things that you care about. You didn't know us then. But I think without having to say much, the record demonstrates that we care about you. We care about making sure you have the best pay, the best health care, the best retirement benefits, the best equipment, the best facilities, and the best work environment, and the best leadership on both sides, on the union president side and in our leadership, some of whom are here today. Making sure that our city employees at all levels are taken care of is one of our most important jobs as leaders in the city. And so as you work with us in a collaborative way, we look forward to the outcome, one that will be beneficial to you, and as we've said before, and we all know it, one that's affordable to the taxpayer, the ratepayer. We know that we have to live within our financial constraints, and there's a lot of competing interests for those finite revenues. We also know that recently we approved, the council approved a pretty significant contract for the police officers. So to your advantage, or to both parties' advantages, really, that's a good kind of precedent-setting agreement that we look to achieve here as well. We know that at all levels of our employees, competitive wages is critical to getting a top-notch workforce. And in our organization, we have 4,000 employees, and each one of those we're constantly looking at what is the pay locally, what is the pay statewide, and even nationally in some cases, to make sure that we're competitive. And we know that pay is not the only item. I mentioned them earlier: work environment, equipment, safety, things that benefit you while you're working, health care for you and your family. And then retirement funds as well. We, in the past 5 years, have put more into the fire's retirement plan than I think any city manager or any group has done in many, many decades. So our demonstration is there. I don't have a written speech because I knew I didn't have to have one because we can just look back at the past 5 years to say that we care about you. And we're not just saying it to say it, but we do. We care about you. We look forward, as we did 4 years ago, to a collaborative work environment here. If we step back for a minute and there's a lot of real professional in there, but if we step back just for a minute, this is about it's one group of people trying to come to a consensus on what's best for, in this case, the firefighters. So It's really pretty simple. We're real open-minded. We have some great team members that are here today, and I encourage you to work as great as you did the last time, and we're here to support you. We'll take our proposals along the way to City Council. Ultimately, we know they have to either approve it or not approve it, but they listen to our advice and recommendations, so it's not like you have to work here and then work with the City Council as well. So we'll work with them. That's part of our job, and we look forward to a great outcome. And I think that's it. I appreciate the time to be here today, just to say some opening guiding comments, and thank you to the firefighters that will be participating through this event. So Dave, I'll turn it back over to you.
John, do you have any?
Yeah, that's kind of hard to follow up, Peter. Stole my thunder a little bit. I think one of the things from the firefighters' perspective, I think that it's not lost on us that your leadership style is something this city desperately needed, and you're right. You came in 5 years ago, and we worked collaboratively on the last contract, and we're looking for the same thing you're looking for. Something that's fair, equitable, and also being responsible. I just want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to thank you for letting me have the relationship that I have with Michael and Rebecca and Gabe and Lilia, Will, everyone on your team. And we look forward to this process, and we appreciate you. I know we're at the table a little early, but I think it's better for all of us to get this out of the way. I just want to welcome you to the hall. Make yourselves at home. There's drinks, water, soda. Depending on how late we go, maybe we got some other things. But you just help yourself to whatever you need, and whatever we can do to help, just let us know.
All right. Thanks, John. I think with that, we'll start looking at the ground rules. Proposed ground rules right here. Yeah, it's in our binders. So we established we have, I think, the total of 8 members at the table. We do have a team list to exchange with you all as well. Okay.
I can make more copies if you need it.
Okay.
Totally up to you.
So taking that part of the ground rules, schedules. I think we've kind of already determined that we're going to try and meet at least once a week for the next 6 or 7 weeks. I think right now we're scheduled for every Wednesday, with the exception of 1 week where we have to meet on a Monday. Deliberations. We're here at the table, so we're agreeing to meet, for up to 6 hours, if more, if we're in the middle of making progress on something, and we think we can get it done that day. This is subject to the Open Meetings Act, which is why we're recording not only for our records and your records as well, but also because this is subject to open meetings. So there's a potential that members of the public could come in. We do post meeting notices just like we would with City Council or any city board or meeting. So for this meeting, we've done that. We'll do that for all our upcoming meetings. Like I said earlier, record negotiations being made, so you guys are saving it for your records, we're saving it for our records. Proposals, I think, we've talked about it. We have so far 7 bargaining sessions scheduled. So at the 6th bargaining session, we'll start talking about, wrapping up any new proposals coming forward. we're gonna try and get this done quickly, but we also wanna make sure we get it done correctly. And so we're gonna, take however long, 60 days is what's in the contract, but if for some reason we need more time, we can discuss that later, but I'm hoping that we don't necessarily need to go that far. Economic data, any data that, we have and that you guys have, we're willing to share, and so far we've done a good job so far trying to provide whatever data you guys have asked for and whatever data we have. For some reason we need to amend the ground rules, we can amend it by agreement. Any press releases will be joint, so if there's something that we need to put out to the public for whatever reason, we'll discuss it beforehand and we'll both sign off on it. We're going over the current contract, that's our bargaining document. And if for some reason, which I don't anticipate, but if we do have to come to an impasse, that, we'll give each other notice ahead of time and all that good stuff, and then we'll operate in good faith. So I think, we did provide it to you in the TA format, so if you're ready to sign off on it, I think we are too.
Yeah, the only question I have, Gabe, is under number 1, the list of team members. You just want to use today's date?
Yeah, we'll
Are you
use
good with that?
We'll use today's date. I will admit, I do have to add somebody on there. Yeah.
We're okay. No, that's the bargaining extension.
Alrighty, so the next item I have, we do have some non-economic proposals. I put them already in tentative agreement format. Divvy these up. This first one is just going over the duration of the contract. We're proposing another 4-year contract. Just, it's a sweet spot. It's not so long that, the contract's not able to respond to any, unanticipated changes. And at the same time, it's not so short that we're going through this whole process and we're right back at the table, in the blink of an eye.
We're good with the duration. 4 years seems to be a good, a good mechanism for both sides. It's not too early, not too long.
Right.
We're good with 4 years.
Okay.
Gabe, as we go through,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna want to number the TAs. How do you want to do it?
I think, yeah, we
So,
can
this,
number.
I mean, to me, this would be like number 2.
This will be number 2 after the
Okay.
promos. Yes, sir.
Just so when we talk about them, we know we're both on the same page.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's fine.
This next proposal is an operational proposal.
Can you, hold on.
Yes, sir.
You got 10 in there, Gabe?
Yes, sir. Should
Make sure the team gets it first.
This proposal, it's an operational proposal. This is regarding 40-hour staff assignments. Currently in the contract, it has that firefighters assigned to fire prevention are really 40-hour assignments. They have to be there for a period of 5 years, and I think in order to allow more flexibility for the employee, we propose to reduce it to 2 years. However, if it's a firefighter that's obtained their peace officer license that was paid for by the city, that they'll stay in that position at least 4 years.
We're good with that, Gib.
Okay.
Gives the department more flexibility, so.
Yes, sir.
Gives our members more flexibility too. This will be number 3.
Yes, sir. This will be number 3. This next one. This next one is just concerning holidays. Since the last contract, the city has added Juneteenth as an officially recognized holiday. So just to get the contract up to date with observance of the city holidays, we're adding in the Juneteenth as well as the floating holiday that's awarded to all city employees. That's typically utilized during the winter break. So it's just getting everything up to date with current city policy and current city practices.
We're good with that, Gib.
Okay. This one is the last of our non-economic proposals today. This one, it's just, excuse me. This one is just, has to do with use of sick leave. It's just notifying the appropriate chief as opposed to strictly a battalion chief, so it could be an assistant chief, just depending on whoever the proper supervisor is.
We're good with that.
That. These next two are economic proposals. This first one,
You prefer to go through the non-economics?
yeah,
Or it's totally up to you.
no, we do non-economic first, yeah, we'll do that, and then
I think
we'll
we
circle back.
have some.
Okay.
I think one of the things I wanted to cover first, it's probably kind of geared towards Chief Mathajet's. When, the contract, when we're here bargaining, the members that are off duty get overtime pay. Is there a certain procedure you want to follow for them turning that in?
They just, how they submit their normal.
Just do it normal?
To the CCFD office email.
Okay. One of the challenges I had today was, and I guess I should have been a little more clear with Chief Urban. You know, we actually met at 11 because we still had some preparatory work to do. But I wasn't able to get the guys here the guys that are on shift, which is 3 of them, get them off till about 10:30. We're gonna be meeting, most of our meetings are gonna be in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Is there any flexibility in there where I can just get them off the day or at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
And then I guess it's more of a question really is, if we're not bargaining till 1:30, when does that negotiating time start? Although we may not come to the table till 1:30, I'm usually gonna want them here 10, 11 o'clock just to get prepped for the day. So I guess maybe we can talk about it offline or something?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
We'll do it.
okay.
But
that covered?
I think Kenny had talked to you previously about, knowing for this first meeting, because I told him I wasn't sure who the members were. But
Right.
I just told him he just needed to get with you
Yeah.
to find out who needed today off, so.
Yeah.
But then, once we got the list now, we know who, I can just tell them that
Okay.
certain members.
Yeah, and I should have been a little more clear with Chief Urban of when I wanted them,
Okay.
basically, but a couple of them are, running late, 30 minutes late.
Daily or at the end? Does that matter?
Would you prefer to have those notifications sent as they're done, or would it be okay for the members to just submit them all at one time?
I can submit them all at one time. I
Okay.
can give you-
If they wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the end.
yeah, okay. Thank you. All right, Gabe, we've got four. This one here, Gabe, is Article 18, deals with personal leave and how that we can take that leave. In our discussions, we understand that firefighters, as all city employees, get 60 hours of PL, and we wanted the flexibility to be able to take that in 12-hour blocks. For those members that maybe they just have something they need to take care of during the day, but they want to come back and finish their shift. And so you'll notice there it's 12-hour blocks. It's not combinable with any other leave other than any potential final one. Doesn't preclude them from taking full 24 hours, but they could do it in 12-hour blocks if they wanted. And we think it's fair and actually might even be a benefit to the department. Did I not print enough? I apologize. The next one Gabe's on, Article 21 is probationary period for new employees. What we want to do is try to standardize the probationary period, and you'll notice there, it starts 6 months, or it's 6 months after you reach full duty firefighter. Right, that's a departure from the way it was when it said first entry level rank. But we also wanted it to give the department time to vet these new, men and women we're bringing on, and just have an 18-month minimum, so. And if you're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
This will be number 7?
Yep.
So this one, Gabe, is actually deals with, it's Article 8, President's Time Off. And since its inception, this leave has come out of the firefighters' personal leave, and it really never made any sense to us. Our brothers in blue, on the PD side, we took it right out of their contract. And instead of it coming from our personal leave, it'll be sick leave. So. And I have one more. So this one is Article 22. It's promotional examinations for captain and the eligibility requirements. And in the last probably 6 or 7 years, we've had this instance happen where someone's promoted to the first line supervisor position and has less than 4 years of service. And it's to our membership, it's just not enough time to vet those guys. And Corpus has been extremely lucky. There's the potential for some of those guys to never even had a fire, and to put them in charge of the safety of crews with that type of seniority just seemed a little odd to us. And so what we're going to ask is that we move that back to 5 years as a full duty firefighter, and with a minimum of 2 years as a firefighter 2. That should be
Number 9.
yeah. all the non-economics I had.
We do have a couple of economic ones that we're gonna bring forward. And they will, do you guys have any economics today?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll bring forward ours, you guys can bring forward yours. I think probably might wanna caucus after we receive them, and then come back with any questions, and so we can go from
All
there.
right, I'm not opposed to that. I'll do you a favor. I'll go first.
Okay.
You went first on the non-economics. We'll strike the first blow. What do you think about that? So, you know, we've been talking about a few different things. One of them has been a provisional position for the president, and also Chief Wade's desire to have appointments. And I'm gonna give you two proposals. It does kind of get Chief Wade where he wants to go in one respect, and it gets the association where we want to go and where we think that it's not only better operationally for the department, we think it's better for the safety of the membership too. So with that, there should be two of them. And I'll talk about them separately if you want me to.
There's two here? Okay.
Yeah, there should be two.
Take two, pass it on.
Maybe I should have stayed with them.
Yeah, there should be two, yeah.
So I think I'm gonna start off with the one that's probably more important to the association, which is the president's provisional. Only because we sort of see it as a safety issue for operations. A lot of people may not understand, but the association has a full-time president, which means that that president's off the front line. It just so happens that for the past 8 years, our president, myself, I'm actually a first-line supervisor. And what's happening operationally is that for the past 8 years, our 54-hour has actually been running short a captain. And it doesn't, when you say it like that, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really is a big deal. Because every third day, there's a potential, instead of having 22 officers on shift, they only have 21 officers, and that missing person's me. They're gonna have to pay someone acting pay, potentially overtime. Anytime there's an overtime on B shift, it's me, or this position. And we're asking for it to be provisional because what we want to see happen is, if we can agree to this, we would immediately promote someone, whoever's next on the list, and that immediately puts someone in the field in a supervisory position doing the job of taking care of our members. The reason we want it provisional is on the backside. If I was to retire or go back to shift, or Lord forbid something horrible happened, if you do it a different way, there's a potential for someone to be demoted, and we don't want anyone to be demoted. I would say that in a provisional, you just carry that person, and I honestly don't think you're going to carry it for very long. Maybe 12 months maximum. And with the reinstatement list, it's the same thing. 12 months, they're going to re-promote, or you're going to reinstate them, and it just seems so. The idea is crazy to demote someone. You promote them, you have this big party, you promote them, and then, hey, by the way, the president's coming back, we're going to have to demote you. But you got the next promotion. It seems like a crazy idea. That's the provisional, that's Article 8, association rights, president's time off. And with that, you know, we understand with Article 31, and although you'll see a bunch of strike through at the top, I just went back to the original language and changed it to fit what we wanted to say. We're not opposed to the fire chief having a second deputy chief at all. A matter of fact, we've encouraged it since 2016, and it never happened. You know, now we've got not only new leadership in City Manager Zanoni, but we've got a new fire chief that understands the importance of that, and we're willing to give you the deputy chief. You want it to be a by appointment? We're going to give you that. You can read the language. You know, it says right now the current language is any of the three. Right? It could be deputy chiefs or assistant chiefs. We're going to give you two deputies and 2 assistants. And I'm going to let you know this doesn't preclude any other talks on any other appointments. We're willing to talk about those too. But these two seem to kind of flow together. We did have a little question about, there was one of the words in there was basically if that person was unappointed, they would go to an equivalent rank. I think we understand what you were trying to say, but I don't know what the equivalent rank would be. It seemed kind of open-ended. I took that out. We took that out. So, but anyway, and it holds true with what's happening today with our appointments. They hold the same seniority, longevity, all that stuff. So, but that's the proposal that we have.
Just a question real quick, Johnny.
Yep.
So these two proposals are tied together, so.
Yes.
So if we accept one, we gotta accept all. I mean, these
Yes.
two. I just wanna make
Yes,
sure,
sir.
be clear. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, Gabe, we're not precluding from maybe comes to an agreement on other appointments at all, right? We're more than willing to talk about it. So don't think that we're shutting the door on that. We're not doing that. I think you should know me better than that. You should know us better than that. You've been dealing with us for a long time, so. But as far as the deputy and the provisional, yeah, we tie those together.
Johnny,
Yeah.
just to clarify a little bit on this, so the 2 appointed deputy chiefs, you're saying no more than 2 appointed assistant chiefs. Would that be counting like Chief Page's position, who's appointed, and Chief Bellew's right now?
Yes.
Or is this in 2
No.
in addition to?
No.
Okay.
No, that's what I was trying to say is that this basically covers what we have plus a deputy chief.
Okay.
We're not opposed to talking about the other 15 that you want to do.
Okay. I just want to be clear on that.
Yes, sir. Ready to sign?
Not calling you.
Uh-huh.
Might need a
All
call.
right, just checking. Just checking.
Yes, sir. Did you guys have another economic one?
No, sir.
That's
That was
right?
it.
That's
Yes, sir.
right now? Okay. All right, so on ours, start with this one. This is a economic proposal. So the fire department got, so it's my understanding the department got an arson dog. And so what we've done is taken the exact language that's carried in the police contract for their dogs and, or their canine units and their handlers, and kind of mimic that for the fire department. So the firefighter that's in charge of the arson dog was compensated for his time and for the effort. And so in this instance, they would receive, it'd be a new ad pay, they'd receive $170 per month. And then they would also receive 1 hour of overtime for their days off, including any time they were on vacation, sick leave, comp time, or personal leave.
Okay.
And then if the arson dog's ever retired, the handler will have the option of receiving the dog from the fire department at the chief's discretion, and then at that point, he's the handler's responsibility. The city won't have any future responsibility
Okay.
for the dog. And then this next proposal.
We're not numbering those.
This next proposal has to do with on-call pay for for the fire marshal's office for the arson investigators. So it's off-duty firefighters who are ordered by the fire chief. They're on any sort of restricted on-call duty. They receive $1 per hour. And this is similar to what the police department has in their contract as well for on-call officers.
Okay, I mean, I think we're both on the same page. Do you guys have a cost on that, Eddie? On the on-call pay? Is it something we could get?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
We get-
Which I'm gonna back up just a little bit on you. On the dog handler pay, if we could get a cost on that as well.
Okay. We can work on getting that to you. Just real quick on one of your proposals, as far as the provisional, does that limit it to just one provisional position at a time? So say, for example, there's, right now you're a captain sitting in the president's position. If say a firefighter 1 or firefighter 2 comes into that position, will there only be that captain's provisional until that vacancy, until that they go back into the fold, and then?
I would think so, because the way the article's written, it's really at the chief's discretion. I mean, I would hope that the chief would see the value in having those people in operations. And I would think that as that captain fell off the provisional, then naturally you would do the next provisional.
Right.
So, and again, in that respect, we've been running at a negative for 8 years, and although it works, I think there is some cost savings and stuff like that makes it beneficial to the city to have that as provisional versus a reinstatement for everything that I stated that the negative is negative about it. So, but again, if I remember right, it's written as, it's at the chief's discretion and council approval. So we're not trying to get anything over on you. We're trying to be prudent, just like you guys, fiscally responsible, just like you. But in the higher up in rank you go, the more pronounced the safety issue is. So.
Okay. I think that's all we have for right now. I think we're gonna try and caucus and discuss.
Okay. We'll do the same thing.
We'll come back with questions.
Hey Gabe, appreciate you giving us those economic proposals, and I think the one that you gave us on the work week, or the work hours, I'm sorry, the on-duty call pay for off-duty firefighters, I think we're okay with that. So if you're comfortable signing that, I'm comfortable signing it.
Yes, sir.
Those are yours. This will be number 10.
No, it's 10 and 10. Oh, okay.
The second one you gave us, the dog handler pay, we wanna talk about it, but I think we wanna see it come back together when we talk about specialty assignment pay.
Okay.
Let's kind of talk about them together.
Together.
You know, it's kind of hard to look at this as a standalone when we know we're probably going to touch on that specialty assignment pay, and I mean, we're definitely, you know, not opposed to it. We just want to look at them together.
Okay. So on our side, I think as far as the provisional position, I think we agree with the concept. I think there's some other items in there that need to be fleshed out or discussed. So we might put together a counter proposal that kind of keeps the spirit of it, but puts in maybe some safeguards that we're concerned about.
Okay.
So we'll bring that up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Do you guys have anything else today, or?
No, I just want to try to solidify a few things. If we could get a hard number on what the 1% is.
Okay. So,
Do we know that number?
Yes.
497?
It is 497. Had one, you know what, we're okay on that. I'm okay. We've heard of a few things, Michael, right? Not only, you know, but in discussions between me and you, and I mean, even Peter said it today, and we're curious what comparable means when you guys say that.
So what we do, maybe Rebecca could jump in here in a second, but when we look at our market comparables, we typically take the top 7 cities in Texas based by population. So that's what we do when we look at comparables. And what we do is we take a look at the salary for each of the positions at each of the different cities, and then we average that out, and that's how we come up with our market comparisons. We do that with our civilians, and we're doing it now with fire, which we just previously did with the police department as well during their CBA process.
That's correct. That's exactly what we do.
Okay. Do you guys have an idea on wages?
So we have looked at, and I'll look in here, but just kind of talking offhand. So we have looked at the 7 largest cities, and we'll even go outside of that. We had data for fiscal 2024. We're just now getting data for fiscal 2025. I do believe we have maybe 3, I have to look in here to where it's at, but we did get some new data because we also wanted to look at what people are doing with, that they're doing now, like we're doing, for fiscal 2025. And so we were able to pull some of that, but we're still waiting on some additional, because if they're not ready yet, or if they're not ready in the part of negotiations, or it hasn't been posted yet, then we're not able to collect that information.
Okay.
So, and I don't have the number in front of me, but based on the information that we have so far, and we do have information for the top 7 cities by population, I think the fire department is on average, all ranks, 11% behind the market. She's gonna get that number there, but it's around
Yes,
11%. And just for some comparison, when we went through the police side, I think theirs was about 12%, maybe a little bit more. I don't have that number in front of me, but we could get that for you. But just as a marker to throw out there so you understand what the market comparables are.
11% today.
Correct. With the information we have so far.
And I think I've seen that same kind of data, you know, depending on how you look at it, whether Houston's in it or not, you know, all these different things. But it kind of helps us to, you know, come down to an idea of what does comparable mean, you know, because it has so many different meanings, and we're just firefighters, you know, we fight fire, we don't do, you know, all the management stuff. I think if we were if we were talking about something comparable and kind of being pushed and not pushed, you know, pressed for an idea, we're probably somewhere around the neighborhood, and this is using the Moody math, what we call it, Moody math. We're probably in the neighborhood of about 33 million.
Can you explain a little bit more what you mean by that?
In what respect?
You said you're about 33 million away from the
I think we'd be looking at a wage package probably in the realm of 33 million over the life of the contract. I don't know what that looks like. I'd have to put it on paper, but if nothing else, it at least gives us a starting point.
So, just as we're having this discussion, I think the focus on the city side is that we take a look at the salaries and we try to catch up to the market on salaries, and that's what we've done in the past on the civilian side, as well as the most recent police contract. I'm sure you've all seen that as well. So as you're thinking about that 33 million, that's something that we are focused on, and I think that's something that, in conversations, I think that's something you and your team is focused on as well. Now, the 33 million, do you have any more information on where you kind of gather that information, or where you came up with that number?
I think it's all in the interpretation of comparable. You know, I mean, you're right. I think once you get the data for 25, you're going to see that we're probably 13% behind the market average, just in those top 7. You know, if you include Houston, it grows about another 1.25. Houston isn't fleshed out yet, but let's just say that it's 13%. You know, using the 497, I mean, just that alone is 6.5 million. You know, and of course that's got to be carried the whole length. I mean, the way y'all do the math. So, and again, we're just firefighters. You know, it definitely is a starting point. You know, just to kind of what does that word actually mean? So, didn't mean to be a buzzkill.
No, I mean,
okay.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of outlined what we mean by comparables and market average, and kind of how we've done our assessments. So if you have a different idea, we're more than open to have that conversation.
Okay. Our next meeting is next Wednesday, right?
Yes, sir.
I think that we'll definitely have some stuff for you. Hopefully we can get, as we go through, you know, like the appointments and the provisional and the dog handler, maybe as we work through, we can tackle those before we kind of move on, type of deal. Are you guys going to be ready next week with any type of wage?
I think we're still discussing it internally. The goal is, I mean, we're willing to sit down and discuss it, but there's some other things that we need to look at as well.
Do we know what the other things are?
Right now, I mean, it's looking primarily at wages, but looking at maybe some of these non-economic proposals, because there might be some things that need to be included in there.
Okay.
Just a question for you guys, as far as y'all's data, is that based off of what we sent you, or is that your own?
We do it a little bit different. You know, we've always done a comparison to 25 cities in Texas. Naturally, once you get up around the Metroplex, it's crazy. You know, your model is a little more geared towards, you know, Corpus Christi is the 8th largest city. Naturally, you want to be paid as the 8th largest, those types of things. We understand the averaging. I don't think you're going to get any pushback from our team on that stuff. You know, but we do our modeling on 25 cities, and when you do that, although Corpus is the 8th largest city in the state, it's paid at the 23rd, behind, you know, Denton. And it's hard to compare yourself to anyone in the Metroplex because it's such a dog-eat-dog world up there. But you can go down the road 120 miles to Laredo, Texas, and we're behind Laredo, Texas. We're behind Houston, Texas hasn't had a pay raise in 8 years. You know, it's crazy when you do it, you go that far out and you look at all these different modeling, you know, models. That's how we kind of come up with our stuff.
Would it be possible for you guys to share that with us, just so that we can kind of try and see it through y'all's lenses as well?
It's probably about 6 months old, but I can definitely, you know, a few things have changed since then. I know San Antonio's at the table today, but there's a few others like I think it was El Paso, Fort Worth, maybe even Dallas just had one of the years of their contract kicked in, and there was pay raises associated with that. But yeah, I don't mind sharing that with you, as long as you know you're okay that it's dated about 6 or 8 months, because it's a lot of work to get, which I'm sure you guys know about, especially if you're doing the 8, you know, because that in itself is a pain. So, but next meeting we'll definitely have some stuff for you, but I would like to, as we present them, I know we're going to get to a point where we need to talk about things that are going to be uncomfortable until we can, you know, finalize the package and bring it all together.
Yes, sir.
So,
Michael, what top 7 cities are you using on your analysis for our wage scale that y'all are looking at?
You want me to answer that?
Sure.
So we're looking at Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, El Paso, and Arlington.
And you have their information?
So we have the information for fiscal 2024. What we've gathered for fiscal 2025 is with Austin, Fort Worth, and El Paso. So we're still waiting on the other cities to be able to get us that information. And we started this actually in December. We went out in December to go and try to get this information, knowing that we were going to be potentially starting earlier than what we did last year. But information wasn't really available. And so it's slowly coming in. We do have Odette, who's here, as well as Amelia, working on that information for us.
Is that data that you can share with us?
I think it's already been shared with you guys. If not, we could resend it. By all means, we'll resend it. But I think we sent you guys one, and then we updated with the 23 data. So it could be dated as of the time we did it.
I think, yeah, we have.
So then we're scheduled for a week out at 1:30 at the same time.
Yep.
Same time, and then I think we'll meet here again as well.
That's fine with us, and if you guys want to meet somewhere else, we're fine with that too.
Yeah,
I kind of like traveling a little bit. Today's a bad day though.
we discussed that. We'll look at that for
Okay.
some of the future meetings.
Do we have the 2025 data that you've gathered already also?
So those were just, so I did submit it to Gabriel on it, and those were the 3 cities that we received up to date. As we gather more information, we will then submit it and then be able to get it to Johnny. But as of today of this meeting, that's what we've been able to collect.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, then we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now I can get out of this monkey suit.